This one definitely had a playoff feel, but the Broncos did not play up to the occasion. Despite 3 takeaways from the defense, the Broncos fall 17-13 to their rivals, the Las Vegas Raiders. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Broncos Postgame Show. I'm Phil Milani here in studio with Todd Davis. Todd, this was a disappointing game because it really seemed like the Broncos came to play, facing a rival in the division, the Raiders, and the playoffs on the line here, sort of not able to get it done.
All the way around, this felt like a playoff game. And it was a hard-nosed, hard-fought game all the way through. You felt like the Broncos were going to find a way to get a win. I felt like the defense played well enough in certain areas for us to get a win. But once again, we're kind of lackluster on offense and couldn't really put the points up that we needed to win.
Yeah, the Broncos did not score in the second half in this game. Let's check out some of the highlights, show you how this one unfolded at Allegiant Stadium. The defense, like we mentioned, came to play. The Broncos down 7-3 just before the 2-minute warning. Josh Jacobs, it bounces off his knee. Mike Purcell there to recover. That led to a field goal. Then on the next Raiders drive, what a play by Bradley Chubb. He almost scores. Todd, he's got to get in the end zone there. Come on.
Yeah, man, we got to work on your speed. We got to get you back healthy. You got to get in the end zone there. But that was a great play by him. I'm excited to see him making those big-time plays once again. Those are the type of game-changing, game-wrecking plays that Bradley Chubb is capable of making. So, that was very important to the overall scope of this game. That kept the offense in it. Really, that was the only touchdown off of that play that we scored. Great play by Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, the very next play, Javonte Williams finishes the job, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Broncos feeling pretty good, up 13-7 at the break. The opening drive in the third, though, for the Raiders, Peyton Barber, a 5-yard touchdown. Todd, it seemed like the Raiders made some halftime adjustments there, really started running the ball in the second half.
Yeah, they came out with the mindset that it's going to be a ground-and-pound game. They really decided to run the ball, and what they decided to do was make the corners and the safeties tackle. They wanted Justin Simmons in the box tackling, Bryce Callahan, Ron Derby. They wanted them all in the box, making them having to tackle. The linebackers were doing a great job shooting their gaps. The front four was holding their gaps, but it always gets tough when you make your outside corners and safeties have to come up in the box and tackle.
Yeah, the Broncos had a tough time. Josh Jacobs had a career day today. The Raiders added a field goal, so they were up 17-13. The Broncos down 4 late in the 4th, needed something special to start happening here. On 4th down, a gutsy play here. Locke finds Sutton for 16 yards. Todd, we were fired up after that one.
Yeah, we were definitely holding our breath, because that was definitely a gutsy call. That was a great throw, a great catch by Courtland Sutton. I wish he could have been more involved in this game, but that was an overall great play.
A little bit later in this drive, this one was a backbreaker. Locke finds Albert O. It would have been a huge play. Who knows what would have happened, but he can't hang on 3rd down. Locke trying to make something happen, but he gets sacked. And the Broncos, they decide to punt the ball. You figured the way the defense had been playing, maybe they'd get it back. Needed a stop on 3rd down. And Foster Moreau, a 28-yard gain on 3rd down. Todd, that's a tough situation for the defense because you're expecting a run, but then Moreau slips out.
Everybody's waiting for that run. You think that the offense wants to keep the clock running. So when your offense gets the ball back, there's very limited time. And just the tight end sneaking up the middle got past our safeties.
Maybe they felt they could have thrown it because the 2-minute warning was right there. That was the end of the game. A couple of kneel downs after that, and the Raiders go on to win 17-13. The Broncos still not technically eliminated, but they dropped to 7-8 on the season. For more, let's go out to Las Vegas and hear from Eric Dalala.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, the Broncos' postseason hopes all but come to an end today. And unfortunately, the offense can't take advantage of 3 takeaways from the Denver defense. I thought the defense made the plays they needed to make. Bradley Chubb, of course, with maybe the best defensive play of the season for the Broncos. But unfortunately, the Raiders were able to gash the Broncos on the ground, especially in the second half. 160 total yards for the Raiders on the ground. And then the Broncos, Phil, they weren't able to capitalize on offense. Their bread and butter has been the run game. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon combined for 8 total yards. Too many critical errors there. Courtland Sutton can't make a catch early in the game. Albert Okwuegbunam have one go off his hands there late in the game, and ultimately to be held to that number of points as an offense, just not going to get it done. Broncos fall just short here despite a really good defensive performance.
Thank you very much, Eric. Back here in studio with Todd Davis. Todd, this was Drew Lock's first start of the season. Certainly some excitement when he is under center for the Broncos.
Yeah, you always feel like he could be the guy. He always gives you that energy, that feel, that confidence that maybe he finally got it together and he's ready to be our guy. I really feel like he played a great game today. They didn't get the win, but he didn't have any turnovers. I think he was 15 to 22 at 154 yards, and he really had a couple plays that were drop balls by the receivers that really would have been game-changing plays. So I think overall he played pretty well.
Yeah, Judy had a drop pass on the sideline there, was really upset after that one. We showed you the Albert O play where, you make a couple of those plays and this offense really gets rolling. The Broncos unable to have any sort of rushing attack today, 18 yards only on the ground, which would have definitely helped Drew out too.
Yeah, that would have helped him out a lot. I feel like the game plan going into this game was run the ball and take as much off of Drew Lock's plate as possible. I think if we had even a little bit of rushing offense this afternoon, we maybe would have got a win. I think you rush the ball, even if we were able to get 80, 90 yards, it takes a lot off his plate. Now that 150 goes on to add to the offense instead of being the only offense we really had today.
Yeah, he was, I think, maybe one of the top rushers for the Broncos. You thought maybe he could sneak out there on that third down play too. He got caught. But all around, despite Drew playing pretty well, the offense just didn't have it today.
Yeah, I feel like we just were missing cues. It felt like the offensive line really wasn't firing off like they had the past couple weeks. Our running backs, Javonte Williams was trying to break tackles, but when you're getting hit twice behind the line of scrimmage, it's hard to make big plays and big runs. So it really felt like we didn't have as much push up front as we did in prior weeks.
Well, let's hear from Drew Lock here after his first start of the season.
We did a lot of good things. We moved the ball. The difference is really small in this league, and we just got to be a little better in places here and there. I think they were playing really fast today, shooting caps. They just did a good job. They did a really good job. They were physical up front. We were physical as well. When they got us, they got us. It definitely hurts. It was in our hands today, and we didn't take advantage of it.
Drew obviously won in that win, but had a nice game out there. Let's talk about the other side of the ball here, Todd. The Broncos forced 3 takeaways. Shelby Harris had a heck of a game, but could not stop the run in the second half.
And that's so important to be a great defense. I think that's number one. You have to be able to stop the run. When teams can run the ball on you, they dictate the game flow, they dictate time of possession, and that's what happened at the end of the game with the Raiders today.
Josh Jacobs had a career-high 129 yards rushing. The Raiders, in all, 160 yards on the ground. That was surprising, though, for this Broncos defense to give up that many yards. What did you see out there? What was the adjustment?
Very surprising. I feel like the Broncos had some run game issues early on in the season, but it felt like they shored up all the gaps and were really being able to stop their opponents. But this game, it just felt like the Raiders made the corners have to tackle. Like I said earlier, it's always tough when those guys are used to covering all game and they have to get in the box and do the dirty, gritty work. Sometimes, running backs are able to get leaky yardage because you're getting tackled by guys who don't normally tackle on a regular basis, and I feel like that's what happened today.
And Josh Jacobs, a physical runner, downhill kind of guy, tough to tackle. Let's go out to Las Vegas and hear from Sidney Jones, who's standing outside the Broncos locker room.
I'm here with Bradley Chubb. Bradley, defense played their hearts out today. 3 takeaways, the most from this defense all season. Just what are your takeaways from today's game?
We just got to find ways to do more. Find ways to, off that pick, probably score. Or if I saw the ball when Shelby knocked the ball out, probably pick it up, get more yards for our offense. So just doing more and sticking together as a team. And I feel like it's a good learning curve for us, and we just going to have to bounce back next week.
You mentioned it. You had that huge interception, first interception of your career. What did that mean to you to have that happen, and kind of walk me through that play?
It was huge. Right before we went on the field, my coach was like, alert the screen, and then we called a little game. And so I was coming inside, and I saw the running back running behind me. So just tried to put my hand up. I ended up tipping it to myself and catching it. So it was a good play, but I wish I got in the end zone, but it's all good.
Well, 2 games left of the season, both against division opponents. Kind of what's the mindset here for the last couple games?
Finish strong. The Chargers probably still have a chance, and we want to knock them out. And Chiefs for sure got a chance, and we want to knock them out too. So whatever we could do just to ruin other people's chances, that's what we want to do.
Appreciate your time, Bradley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Todd, the Broncos not playing complimentary football here today. Once again, the defense. 3 takeaways, hold the Raiders to just 17 points, and it's still not good enough.
Anytime you win the turnover battle 3-0, it's like a 99% chance that you're going to win the game. So this is that 1%, I guess, where you don't get it done. And I feel like, once again, I think we're relying or waiting on the offense to provide more help. Even though the defense couldn't stop the run, they were able to get takeaways, and that kind of shifted the momentum in the Broncos' favor. But when the offense got the ball to really create a spark, it really wasn't there.
Yeah, the defense, Shelby Harris had a strip sack on Derek Carr, led to a long field goal attempt for Brandon McManus. He wasn't able to connect on that one. Just seemed like things just they weren't playing off each other very well here today. And very disappointing considering what was on the line. They were going to be tied for that final spot in the playoffs with a win. Now they dropped to 7-8. And in general, facing the Raiders, they've lost now 5 out of 6.
Yeah, we got to do something to turn that around. I feel like everybody knew what was on the line today. This felt like a playoff game because it really was a playoff game. This was the game that was going to keep the season going, to have high hopes for the postseason. And although the postseason dreams are still not dead, it just feels a little bit dimmer than it did, this morning. So there was a lot riding on this game, and we weren't able to get it done.
Let's once again go out to Las Vegas and check in with Sidney Jones.
Outside the Broncos locker room here with Javonte Williams. Javonte, obviously not the outcome you guys had hoped for. What did head coach Vic Fangio talk to you guys and the team about after today's game?
Yeah, he was just letting us know we need to finish the season strong. He was saying, offense really couldn't get going, like what we already knew about. And, other than that, it was just keep fighting type stuff. Mm-hmm.
The run game couldn't get going today like we're used to seeing, just under 20 rushing yards. What wasn't working for you in Melvin today?
Yeah, I feel like we just couldn't get going. Like you said, like every time we got the ball, it was somebody already in the backfield. I don't know, they just played good at the D-line.
Well, with 2 games left, kind of what's your mindset heading into the rest of the season here?
Really just finish hard and just build for next season.
Appreciate your time, Javonte. Thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Time now to wrap up the post-game show here in studio with Todd Davis. Todd, like you mentioned, the playoff dream's not completely out of the question now. The Broncos not eliminated, but they have the Chargers and Chiefs coming up. They're going to need some extra help. And the Broncos have not been good against the division, just 5-11 since Vic Fangio was hired. You got to win division games.
You have to. That's the most important games within your regular season play are those division games. Those really set you up to have a shot at the playoffs, shot at the postseason, and ultimately that Super Bowl. I think that the Broncos still have a chance. They've already beat the Chargers, played in a tight, close game against the Chiefs, so they're definitely beatable. We just have to do it. We have to find something deep inside of us to get a win against the Chiefs. I feel like the Chargers aren't as good as people have said they are. Had a pretty bad loss against the Texans today. So the Broncos, the way they look against them, is definitely in the Broncos' favor. I feel like the biggest game to look at right now is the Chiefs. If we can get that one done, we'll be in pretty good shape.
They'll need some help from around the league here, but you never know. As long as you got a chance, you still got something to play for. And it'll be an interesting week around here, too, because if Teddy's back healthy, we've heard Vic Fangio say over and over that he's the Broncos quarterback, but Drew played pretty well today, so that'll be something to monitor this week.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I do feel like Drew came out and played well, but Teddy is the guy. He's a starting quarterback. I think he gives his team the best chance to make a push for the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week.
It'll definitely be an interesting week for sure. The Broncos, though, lose 17-13. Not the way we wanted to wrap up a holiday weekend, huh, Todd?
Not at all. I came ready and dressed for Christmas, ready to spread some Christmas cheer. But, just didn't go our way this week.
Did not go the way. Hopefully everybody out there had a great Merry Christmas, a holiday weekend here. But the Broncos fall to 7-8 with the loss. That's going to do it for us. For Todd Davis, I'm Phil Milani. This has been the Broncos Postgame Show.